Two people leave for work at the same hour tomorrow morning. One climbs into a cockpit. One climbs into a sedan. By the time they clock out, one of them will have earned almost 10 times more than the other. But the real numbers are far stranger than that gap suggests, because the person you think is winning might actually be losing, and the person you feel sorry for might be the smarter bet. Let's start with the pilot. You picture the uniform. You picture the wings on the chest, the confident walk through the terminal, the paycheck that seems to match the prestige. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median annual wage for airline pilots was around $219,140 as of May 2023. Verify this figure before publishing, since BLS updates its wage data annually. That number sounds like a solved equation. Career chosen, case closed. Now picture the taxi driver. You picture long shifts. You picture traffic, strangers in the back seat, a meter ticking slowly upward. The BLS reports the median annual wage for taxi drivers was closer to $33,720 in the same period. Verify this figure as well. On paper, this looks like the least competitive comparison in the history of career comparisons. One person earns in a week what the other earns in 2 months. But paychecks are not the whole story. They're just the headline, numbers on a screen. What matters is what it actually costs each person to earn that number. What's left over? What's poured back in? Start with the pilot's hidden costs. Becoming an airline pilot is not free, and it is not fast. Flight training alone can run anywhere from $80,000 to over $200,000, depending on the program. Verify this range, since pricing varies widely by flight school and region. Most pilots also need thousands of flight hours before a major airline will even consider them, which usually means years of low-paying regional flying first. A pilot in their 20s is often earning less than a taxi driver, not more. The high salary comes later, much later. And along the way, there's the debt. Student loans, training loans, interest that compounds while the paycheck is still small. Now think about the schedule. Overnight layovers, time zones that scramble sleep, missed holidays, missed birthdays, missed ordinary Tuesdays with family. The job pays well, but it also asks for something that doesn't show up on a pay stub. Your calendar, your rhythm, your ability to make plans and keep them. What about the taxi driver? Their entry cost is almost nothing by comparison. A license, some paperwork. In many cities, a car they may already own. There's no six-figure training bill waiting at the finish line. There's no finish line at all, really. You can start earning within days, not years. That sounds like freedom. And in some ways, it is. But freedom has its own hidden price. Most taxi drivers are independent contractors, which means no employer-sponsored health insurance, no retirement match, no paid vacation. Every dollar earned is a dollar you're fully responsible for. Fuel, repairs, insurance premiums that climb every year. A single transmission failure can erase a month of profit in an afternoon. Here's where it gets interesting, where the story flips. Because when you calculate lifetime earnings against lifetime costs, against years of training with no income, against decades of unpredictable expenses for the other, the gap doesn't just shrink, it bends. A pilot who starts training at 22 doesn't hit that median six-figure salary until their mid-30s, sometimes later, after paying down 6 figures of debt first. A taxi driver who starts at 22 has been earning, saving, and compounding interest on whatever they invest for over a decade before the pilot's real income even begins. Does that mean the taxi driver wins? Not exactly. It means the comparison was never as simple as one number stacked against another. Consider risk. Pilots have one of the most secure long-term earning trajectories of almost any profession once they clear the early hurdles. Seniority, not talent, drives most pay increases from that point forward, and mandatory retirement age locks in decades of steady, escalating income. Taxi drivers face constant disruption. Rideshare apps, changing city regulations, fuel price swings, all of it can shift their income overnight, with no seniority ladder to climb and no union contract to fall back on in most markets. So which one is actually richer? The honest answer is that it depends on the year you ask the question. In year 1, the taxi driver is ahead. By year 15, the pilot has likely pulled far in front, assuming they stayed in the industry and weathered the training years. But richer isn't only about the total on a bank statement. It's about what each dollar cost to earn and what each person had to give up to earn it. This is the part most comparisons like this skip. They show you the paycheck and stop there, as if a paycheck were the whole truth. It never is. Every profession is really 2 numbers stacked on top of each other, what you're paid and what it costs you to be paid that. Time, health, flexibility, debt, stability, those are currencies too, even if they never show up on a W-2. So here's the real question, the one underneath the pilot and the taxi driver entirely. When you're choosing a path, are you optimizing for the biggest number at the end? Or for the smallest number of things you have to sacrifice to get there? There's no universally correct answer. A pilot who loves flying will happily trade a decade of modest pay and disrupted sleep for a lifetime in the sky. A driver who values independence will happily trade a lower ceiling for control over every single day. Neither one is wrong. They're just optimizing for different currencies. Maybe that's the actual lesson hiding inside this comparison. Not that one job beats the other. Not that 6 figures always beats 5. But that every career, including whichever one you're standing in right now, is a trade. A trade between income and time, between security and freedom, between what you earn today and what you're willing to spend years chasing. So think about your own paycheck for a second. Not the number on it, the cost behind it. What did it take to get there? What is it still taking from you? 2 people leave for work tomorrow morning. One climbs into a cockpit, one climbs into a sedan, and by the time they clock out, the real winner was never decided by the number on the paycheck at all. It was decided by everything that number never showed you. Thanks for watching all the way through. I know the voiceover isn't perfect yet. I'm still learning, and I'll keep improving the voice and editing with every video. If you found this useful, subscribing really helps the channel grow, and drop a comment with which professions you want compared next.